out of Sacramento, California.
Woo! What you gonna do?
Better. Stronger.
Son of a bitch.
Faster.
Oh, yeah!
What is up, Jarrod? How you doing, brother?
Today is an amazing day.
Why?
I'm great. I'm here with you. We just connected the last couple of days, and I'm enjoying our time. Russell back here just told me a great, inspiring story about what he's going through in his life, and I'm loving that. I hung out with Graham today in the sun, did sprinting. I don't sprint all the time, so being around him was nice.
Yeah.
He made it feel like a dance. And then I ripped open my feet. And honestly, it hurt a little bit, but I'm realizing I'm not a little bitch. And I'm really happy about that, too. So today's amazing. Now I'm here.
You came here to visit Super Training Gym and to see Mark. What has your impression been of it, of what goes on here?
I love the culture of what's being built here. There are really strong, safe, masculine men coming to this building that are trying to they're just sharing the truth. There's no trying. There's a lot of truth seeking and truth speaking here. And I'm really loving the energy of the men coming in here. And even the women who are coming in here are very strong.
Yeah.
They're very strong-willed, strong-minded. I saw them training together the other, I want to say it was Thursday, was open gym.
Yeah.
Right? And then there was a good handful of them just going after it.
Yeah.
And I can see the aggressive love that there is here where it's like a push, but the kind of push that we need, a slap in the ass. And so I'm really liking the culture. The people have been super kind. Everyone I meet has something great to say about everybody. And that's my impression. The facility itself, the actual facility,
Yeah.
awesome. There's
Well,
so
I
many
appreciate
things
it.
going on here.
You have an infectious personality, like one of the first people that came. There's a couple of people that come here that are similar, but you literally came here and like have hung out with everybody that works here. And like in like, a day, which is really cool. So for that, I'm going to award you a Mind Bullet.
Let's go,
Extract,
man.
because you liked these yesterday, right?
I loved
You
it.
took one yesterday, and what
Yes,
did you do?
I did. I went for a run. We actually went to go eat a Flying Dutchman
Oh, yeah.
over at, what was it, In-N-Out?
In and out.
And then I took this Mind Bullet and went for a run.
And you were going crazy.
And I
when you
was
were running.
going at it. I got dialed
Drenched in
in.
sweat.
The right
We gotta
music,
cheers
man.
this up. I'll take that off.
Light cheers,
Be
because
careful,
sometimes
yeah.
I spill.
I do
With the
too.
right people, I
I'm
get
an idiot.
excited.
Mind Bullet is our kratom extract product. That is, I took that all at once. I actually would recommend most people would do that in 2 servings, but I've been taking kratom forever. He's
And
fired
we're
up
feeling a
all the
little
time.
crazy.
Yeah, I might get a little crazy.
Going after it.
But that's our product, Mind Bullet. It's awesome. Check it out, mindbullet.com. And I think you do mindbullet.com, code Boar / Chris Bell. I think it's on my Instagram, and you save some loot over there.
Really loved it for the focus I got yesterday. Considering I just finished a burger
Yeah.
and I just went for a straight up run. Oof. That
You
was
got
good. I
dialed
was
in.
dialed in.
Yeah. No, I just like it in general. We've had like a lot of people come here, like Tom Segura came here, and he liked it so much he mentioned it on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Nice.
And the next day we had like 1,000 orders. It was just great.
Super
It was like,
cool.
so things like that are really cool. I just like it as an alternative. A lot of people will criticize kratom can be habit forming in some cases. A lot of people will criticize me for that, and I just say, listen, man, I need to take painkillers otherwise. It's either I'm taking kratom or I'm taking Vicodin. Which one do you want? And I think when you put it like that to people and they realize that you're actually in a lot of pain and there's nothing else that you can really do about it other than find something else, it's going to be way more addictive or way more dangerous. To me, it's harm reduction. That's the way I look at things. Try to help people,
Yeah, let's optimize. And honestly, everyone needs their own way.
Yeah.
We just don't know what each other are feeling. So there's no room for judgment in my world. It's like, just do what makes you feel good. And as long as it's not harming yourself or people around you, we're cool.
Yeah, you have a really cool, interesting program. Basically, what you do, you're this like kettlebell master. We saw you swinging around these kettlebells like crazy, doing what you call like flowing with the kettlebells. And I just thought that was really cool. Like, how did you get into this and all this stuff? How'd you get into fitness? Give me your story a little bit.
I would say my athletic, fitness story is in most of my life, I was a natural athlete. I loved playing basketball. That was kind of my main squeeze. That's the one I fell in love with the most. And I would spend hours after school just dribbling, shooting with friends, myself. And so that was the basis of my athleticism. I played competitively up till high school. At 17, I kind of washed myself out, if you will. I lost my interests and my drive. And
Yeah.
had more self-doubt kicking in at 17. Took a couple years off. Ended up just putting on weight. I want to say put on like 30, 40 pounds at the time. And at some point, I just was unhappy with that. Really unhappy when I looked in the mirror. How I felt walking around, adjusting stuff. Just what it felt like to be in the heavier body for me. I eventually just got sick of it. I was like, I got to change.
Yeah.
It's time to change. It's a non-negotiable now. I have to shift. And so at age 20, I really went after it before transferring to the University of Central Florida. So I took like 2 years of getting my associate's degree, started to understand a little bit more about fitness. But then I would say that 2 months before that transfer, I was just motivated. I'm going to a new school.
Yeah.
It's hot ladies.
There you go.
Trying to come on now.
Central Florida.
Anywhere.
UCF.
Yes. I'm trying
That's a
to
good
just
school,
walk
man.
around and make sure like it's a guaranteed.
Yeah.
And I figured, abs would give me confidence. And so I really had a lot of reasons to want to change inner, like, confidence.
Yeah.
As well as I felt the external validation would come from everybody else. Ended up losing 30, 40 pounds, choosing the degree of kinesiology as my major because I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is so applicable. This is something that can be integrated today. You can teach it to athletes. There's optimization. There's healing that comes from this. So I ended up choosing that as my degree, got really after it, ended up becoming a personal trainer after that. I would say after I finished my degree in kinesiology, what I wanted to do was physical therapy. That was my goal. I wanted to be a physical therapist, make good money, heal people, come from that background. Ended up taking an internship and was like, I'm not enjoying what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this is what's going to fix a lot of the problems.
It's brave to pivot. A lot of people wouldn't do that. They would just go their path, be unhappy. But that's brave to pivot.
Yeah, there was more security, as you know, and I'm sure it's a mirror of your pivoting too, right? Like your ability to same thing, say, my voice is my voice, and something's wrong
I went
here.
to film school, and I wanted to blow things up and make Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And I just, when I got there and was starting to make these narrative films, I was just so drawn to the documentary. And also it was kind of like out of necessity. Like when you're a wolf and you need to eat, I was a wolf that needed to eat. I needed to make a movie. I was like, I am not going to die.
Hungry.
I got to a point where I was 33 years old. I'm like, I am not going to die without making a movie. And in the movie, I say, Hulk Hogan was 33 when he won the title. Rocky was 33 when he wrote Rocky, and Arnold was like 33 in the Terminator or something like. And I'm like, and I'm a loser. What I got to do something before I die.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of like back against the wall. You got to do something. Well, I can make a documentary. That's something I can do. It's something that's achievable. So I think looking to pivot. And now I couldn't be happier. Like I'm making a new documentary now. I could not be happier. Like that's what I want to make. I don't want to make scripted stuff. I don't care.
And that's the best thing is what you care about. Like you're listening to yourself. And I think these are the beginning stages of really change and shifts. And I started to hear that voice and when I was in that physical therapy background. And I was like, man, people are having knee replacements, hip replacements, lower back issues, neck issues. Almost nobody's active.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are they hurting themselves? Like what the hell's going on here? They're inactive.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Then I started to think about walking, gait, the way we move, everything. Do people activate their hamstrings ever? I was thinking about that. I was like, I'm seeing a bunch of leg extensions in the PT
and
clinic.
now you cannot go through an airport without looking at everybody's feet and legs,
I
right?
had to.
Their toes where they're pointing,
man.
and you're like,
Chris,
look at these guys' feet.
I had a
pointing straight
stage
up.
of my life where I lived in judgment for a few years, and it was not healthy for me.
You're like, that
Nah,
guy's
I would
pigeon-toed, duck
I'd be
walk.
on a date, Chris, with a fine biddy, and I'd be like, "Are your glutes even active? Like they're genetic. Like, do you even know how to squeeze them?" Like, I'd be like, "Is your foot even?"
Yeah.
I was,
because you're actually trying to help people, but it just becomes weird.
but people don't want exactly. It's unsolicited, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to I learned that lesson also pretty early.
You're walking up to a dude in a restaurant, like, you know how to activate your
Listen,
glutes.
I can tell your lower back hurts. Can I help you? I don't know them. They don't know me.
That's
So as
actually
you
a good
know, it
idea
gets a
for
little
That would be a
interesting.
good skit. Be a good skit.
As a skit.
I'll make it a
We can-
skit.
I like this content creation of
There you go.
yours. I'm gonna grab this little rain drink.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Let's sip it.
We're not a
It's
sponsor.
delicious.
Not a
Yeah, I was
sponsor.
like, just so you know.
We're not that big yet.
You never know, though, right?
There's
You
some
never
good
know.
people out
They
there.
actually are a sponsor because they sponsor the gym.
That's
They
true.
right.
There you
Shout
go.
out,
Thank
shout
you,
out
Rain.
to Rain.
Shout out to
Sorry,
Rain.
let's give it
Shout
a
out to
shot.
Shout out to Rain.
Rain is an energy drink, official energy drink of Super Training Gym, and we actually sell it here.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Thank you,
and
guys.
nutritious. I think it's white gummy bear flavor. What was that?
This one
rainbow.
is the tropical storm, but the gummy bear flavor is the tits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did.
You know, Mark loves that phrase, by the way. The
Is the tits? He's a great guy. He's a smart guy.
Because I was like, why is it the tits? And Mark goes, because
How's
the
it
best
not?
part. He's like, they're the best part.
So you're, a tit guy or a
It's
butt
the
guy,
tits.
and it comes down to like, why not both?
It's such a funny
Why not
word,
both?
though, when somebody
But
says it.
it's
I
just
always
fun
laugh.
to say. Yeah, so I ended up getting out of that physical therapy internship, being like, I learned some things, what I want to take with this, and I don't want to be a physical therapist. That's kind of what drew me away from it.
Yeah.
There's beauty in there, but I felt like I was called to do more. I'm hungrier to see the world evolve faster. And I knew that was through training, going in, doing the shitty things, discipline, slowing down, taking away bad foods or limiting them, having freedom for it, whatever we want to call it, just being smart about that kind of stuff. Going to the gym to exercise, making it a daily practice, doing all the little things, the hard things. I knew that was the answer. And so after I graduated, I ended up becoming a personal trainer for LA Fitness, had a solid year and some change there with some experience, became a private trainer. And there I saw a kettlebell, like kind of in a facility called the Wellness Zone. So I see a kettlebell just kind of sitting there, with dust all over it. No one's ever used it. And I'd seen a Turkish get-up clip on Instagram. I don't remember who it was at the time. And I tried to memorize the dance. Like I was like, okay, how does the sequence work?
Yeah.
How do you go up with the kettlebell and in the air, and what foot goes where? And I studied it a little bit, started to memorize it, and I would say third or fourth move in, I got so happy because I realized I'm flexing my ass, one part of my glute, one part is stretching, my tricep is on, my obliques are really on in one direction. So I felt the mind to matter connection in
Love at first sight with the kettlebell.
literally all these different places at once lit up.
Yeah.
And in my brain too, it got me to that point of I'm so focused on everything going on that I'm so, not focused on anything else. I'm so present. I'm in that high performance state, which I didn't have the terminology for it back then, but I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I started my bodybuilding, not career, but that's how I got into the industry was bodybuilding. I say it's the missionary sex of fitness. It's what I started with, and it's beautiful. And
But you had that aha
got me
moment
consistent.
where you were like, you picked up this kettlebell.
That
and
was
something-
the biggest aha, because I'll say this. The first time I felt my pec squeeze, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Like my G-spot got hit or some shit, man.
You
Like
wanted
same
to
thing
be
with my ass
bodybuilder,
really
yeah.
squeezed. I was like, the mind to matter connection, that
Yeah.
first one from bodybuilding was my first
Yeah.
Then when I did the Turkish get-up and I felt multiple things happening at once in different angles, I was like getting attacked with those feelings. Like, like G-spot,
It's
everywhere.
interesting because Mark had that moment when he invented the slingshot, where he went in, he benched one, like he took the slingshot from this. He met her at a Starbucks, and she gave him the prototype. And there was a gym next door, so Mark walked into the gym next door, and he just said he went right past the counter. He's like, I wasn't gonna let anybody stop me. And he's like, went back to where the bench was. Like, I put on one plate, put on the slingshot. I did a couple reps. Put on 2 plates, 3 plates. He's like, as soon as I took 3 plates and took it off and did it for a couple reps, he's like, my body just came overwhelmed with like goosebumps. And he's like, I just got up and I was crying because I just knew that I invented something that was gonna change the way this does. People do this forever. And I thought that was like really cool. He just had this feeling like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yep.
This is gonna work. And it was like that moment where he felt it, you felt it when you grabbed that weight.
Yeah, there's truths. When you
There's,
feel these like truthful moments that we know is like for everybody.
We were at John Cena's first ever wrestling practice. We were instrumental in when he got into WWE, and he got into the ring and he ran the ropes back and forth twice, did what they call a back bump where you just fall on your back, and he like rolls over and he comes over to Mark and he goes, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. This is fucking awesome. He just knew.
Yeah.
He knew. And he's the best guy to ever, champion-wise, the best guy to ever do it.
Yep.
There you go. What do you knew?
Yeah,
And you knew.
you're having the most fun.
Yeah.
That's I think the biggest thing. Even when I actually kind
You
of
get high.
Yep. And it's like called a G-spot moment.
Yeah.
It's just like you just know. It's
Speaking
a feeling.
of getting high,
Yes, sir.
we talked about this a little bit. We talked about, and we can get into it more later, or we can talk about it now. It doesn't really matter. Psychedelics.
I got time.
Psychedelics. You like them?
I do.
What do they do for you?
They've expanded me. They've made me more aware of myself in different ways, mentally, physically, emotionally, and have allowed me to share that same empathy with everyone else. They've taught me a lot about, not judging others, not judging myself. The beauty of feeling any feelings is amazing because we're alive. And to feel any feelings means we're alive, and that's a miracle within itself.
Yeah.
And that lesson on, for example, mushrooms was something that I carry with me forever. If I'm sober, when I'm sober, right, and I have a moment where I'm like feeling short of breath because I'm angry or jealousy, or there's an emotion, I realize that I can feel happy if I want to. It's a choice.
Yeah.
And I learned that on psychedelics, and I've continued to carry that with me no matter where I am. So, yeah, I like them.
I had an interesting conversation with David Olson this week. He is a professor at UC Davis, and he's very well published in the world of, psychedelics. And he said something really interesting to me. We got done with the interview, and I never try to get anybody with aha, gotcha, or anything like that. But it wasn't relevant to the interview I was doing. So I just asked him afterwards. I said, hey, have you ever used these psychedelics? After he gave me all the information you could possibly ever have. And he said, no, I've never tried them. And he's like, but I really want to. And I'm like, that's so dope, dude. Because I know what you're going to tell me why you didn't want to try them. And he's like, yeah, I can't be biased because I can only give you information. Like, I want to be a scientist in this world, and I can only judge the science.
Yep.
And he's like, now you're going to have a lot of people that have done tons of them, and they're professors. And he's like, but they're going to have a different perspective. And I think that's really cool for people to think on all sides of this stuff,
Yeah, because he hasn't altered his state of consciousness technically.
Yeah.
So we have, and so that does give
He's
a
dying
different
to,
perspective.
but he didn't. And I
I'm
think
sure
that's cool too.
Yeah, that's a crazy discipline.
Well, because people are
You're
like, oh,
around it
how
all the
can you
time.
trust him if he's never done it before?
Yeah,
And it's
see,
like, well,
how can he feel the feelings? But it's not about the feelings for him; it's about the fact.
well, I think when
That's
it comes
science,
to
you know?
all drugs and all things like this, that we have to have people on all sides of this looking at it from every angle, because everything matters within a certain context.
Agreed.
So, which psychedelics have you tried?
I've tried weed, mushrooms.
You like that?
Yep,
Well, you like that when you do your flow stuff.
I do.
Yeah. Why is that?
Just puts me in a state, helps me get ramped up. It's something I associate now with fun. Like I think again, when it comes back to psychedelics, something important to mention to everybody is, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
What's the intention of you taking something like weed?
I'm not really against people taking them recreationally, but I just never use them that way.
I'll just say why, because even if I'm doing it recreationally, like, cool, what's your version of recreation? Because recreationally for me, I used to smoke weed to eat and to do nothing. Like I used to like couch potato. So if I'm smoking weed to do that, well, maybe that's not the intention that I should use it for if I have a goal that's different than that, an outcome that I want. Where now, for example, I'm like, okay, I'm going to smoke weed to socialize, or I'm going to smoke weed to connect with myself in the gym more, or I'm going to smoke weed to enjoy the video game more or enjoy the food more. Like, I kind of choose it to enhance my experiences versus to completely be lazy or allow it to, for that to be the excuse for me to be lazy isn't fair. I feel like I'm the one who gets to make that decision.
Yeah.
And same thing with like mushrooms. Like, what's your intention? Are you taking this to get fucked up? If you are, you might get fucked up.
Yeah.
But if you're taking it to get to know yourself better and your friends better.
I'm very curious, and I like exploring, and that's what I get out of it. Really, is just kind of exploring the mind and exploring like what's in this crazy brain of mine. And I've been on some wild rides with them that I've described.
So what have you done?
I've used pretty much. Well, let's see.
Psychedelic wise
would be ibogaine, which ibogaine is something that can reverse addiction in almost anybody with almost any addiction. However, it's not, nothing's a silver bullet. There's no silver bullet. So it's a tree bark from Africa that you ingest. And when you ingest it, you trip, and it's dissociative. So it pulls you away from things. It makes you not want anything anymore. So when you come out of this, you're like, I don't want anything. I'm like, well, here's the heroin. You're like, I don't want it. Seriously? You've been hooked on this for 20 years. Somehow it potentiates the opioid receptors and actually makes it so there's no heroin withdrawals. So for heroin, it's a great drug.
Wow.
But people need to be very careful with it. It's something that it's got a really long half-life, so the trip is really long. The trip is like a day and a half, 2 days. Mine was like 5 days.
Did you have a good guide?
Yes, I had a guide. so what's cool about it is you do these things and then you meet better people. And my whole intention is to be able to help people safely, right? So I would never recommend that anybody does this the way I was doing it, or even the way I was recommending it for a little while. I think that there are places to go, like a place called Beyond that's in Mexico. It's BEOND.US, if anybody wants to check it out. But Beyond is a place that you can go to a clinic and you pay a price, which is not that expensive compared to how expensive rehab is. And you go down to like a 5-star hotel and you stay down there for 5 days. They treat you with ibogaine and you leave and you do your aftercare and you're good. And the reason I included you do your aftercare is you probably need about 30 to 90 days of like some sort of program. Like you should probably go to AA, or you should probably, be in some sort of program where you're learning about sobriety. Because if you don't, you're just going to go back to those same habits, they say. So you should be in some sort of program when you get off of ibogaine. My ultimate goal and intention and dream is I just reunited with the guy who ran the rehab I went to. It was called Cliffside Malibu. It was in Malibu. They treated all the celebrities there. This guy treated me for free out of the kindness of his heart because I was making the movie Prescription Thugs. And when I was in the middle of making the movie, I relapsed and I was on opioids. And my mom called him and said, "Hey, I know my son talked to you in this movie he's doing and he needs help, but I don't know what to do." He said, "Mrs. Bell, you get that kid here right now." And he said, but my mom's like, "But we don't have any money." My parents were broke at the time. He's like, "Mrs. Bell, I didn't say anything about money. When is your kid going to be here?" She's like, "He'll be there tomorrow." So I showed up.
Wow, man.
And, he took me in and then so he took me in and said, "Hey, I'm going to take care of this. Don't worry about it." But 3 days in, there was a situation that arose where they ran out of space.
Yeah.
So they needed to get rid of me. So for 20 days, I went to the shittiest rehab in Santa Monica. So I went from the best rehab to the shittiest rehab in Santa Monica. And then I ended up coming back to the best rehab for the last 30 days. I didn't find out until yesterday that was all on purpose.
That's crazy.
So basically, he said, "I did that to you on purpose."
Wow.
I said, "You did? Why?" And he's like, "Because I know you can handle it."
Wow.
And he's like, I wanted to show you what it was like, show you what it could be like, and then show you what it's going to be like for you.
Yeah, you sped up your integration.
I'm like, that's crazy, dude.
You probably got sort of like a look at a different population too.
You sped up your integration.
Your
attitude.
I don't want to say it's jail because I know jail is way worse and way more boring. But it was kind of like being in jail. It was like very industrial. This rehab was like being stuck in like a school or like a military barracks. Like, it's 40 bunk beds with 40 dudes who are all on drugs in a room. And these are not people on drugs that are rich. These are the broke people. These are the people that are there because of like their court cases.
Yep.
And I definitely did not want to be there.
It's a big learning lesson there.
And the other place is in Malibu on the beach. I had a sauna in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So I had a sauna in my bedroom at the first place, and then I went to like the worst place.
That's good. Yeah.
It was really,
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, my mom hooked it up.
Yeah, that's dope.
And it was cool that, my mom thought, so what happened was my partner, Greg Young on the film, he was my producer and the editor on Prescription Thugs. He told my mom, "Hey, you may want to talk to this guy." Chris had a great conversation with him. It seemed like click. And then my mom called him. And then he decided to help me. So now he just calls me the other day. And there's a situation that arose where one of his former patients died. And he's like, "We need to end this opioid crisis, and I need your help." And I said, "What do you need?" He goes, "I want you to go through your phone, and everybody you see that can help us, I want you to write their name down." I'm like, "Help us in what way? What are we doing?" He's like, "We're ending the opioid crisis." And I'm like, "Help us in what way? In any way? Are they famous? Are they rich? Do they know people?
Can they get behind the cause?
Do they make films? Do they make, do they do advertising? Like, what do they do?" Because he's like, "You never ask anybody for anything." And he's like, "And you've helped more people than anybody. And I know if I form a foundation with you in your name and we go and we put this in front of people, that it'll do really well and it'll help millions of people."
Amazing.
And to me, I'm honored. I'm like, "Dude, he's like, would we be willing to be involved?" I'm like, "Dude, that'd be amazing. Let's go do it." So to me, he said something that was really important to me because I think I do try to quantify things with money a lot. And I've been ripped off a lot in my life. And he said, you need to stop equating any of your worth with money. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Impact.
Yeah. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, you're the man. And so you go like, oh, now I got a little confidence, you know? I think confidence is everything, really.
Oh, 1,000,000%. That's why I train. Every movement bring us back to training a little bit. Like the way I move and the way I feel when I move integrates to everything in my life. So for me, if I'm very confident in my biomechanics with the flow, the fluidity, if I take the time to get to know thyself in my whole vessel and the way it's supposed to be and present, I feel that confidence wherever I go. Like knowing where the kettlebell, for example, when I flip it, all that crazy shit I'm doing, knowing where it's going and where I'm supposed to move once the force hits me and I receive it and I need to work with that force and then redistribute it somewhere else to keep the flow continuing. This is life. Like this is how life works. Yeah. And we need to be constantly aware of all of these pieces happening at the same time, which is extreme presence. It comes back to that as well. Like I train for this. Like this is why we train. This is especially the way I dial in like that. We talked about like, you know, why kettlebell, why that? Like it dials me in and I take that practice and that energy to sales, to relationships, to friendships, to this podcast. Like that ability to focus is here. It's because of the way I believe the way I choose to tap into the body.
Give us kettlebell 101. Start at the beginning. Where do we start? What are the reasons we're doing this? What is the difference between conventional weightlifting? Just talk about it. I think it's really cool what you do.
Right on. Thank you. I'm happy to talk about it.
You have the floor.
Yeah, so the reason why I choose a kettlebell is the kettlebell is very versatile. It's an extension of our body. So whatever my body can do, the kettlebell can do. Where the barbell is a little bit more limiting. And I still love landmines. I do landmines. I do barbell lifts. I do every type of training. So there's no discrimination. All of it gives me different feelings, empowers me in different ways. So I love it all. But the kettlebell specifically is just like, there's so much you can do with it. And where it starts is kind of interesting because, for example, if I was to take you through a standard education where the current standard of education is in kettlebell education, for the most part, you're going to go probably starting off with a Turkish getup, something like that, something I spoke about earlier. Where for me, I start off with like squeeze the kettlebell with your grip, release the kettlebell a little bit, let it hang down in your fingertips. Feel the difference between that tension. How does it feel? It probably feels like when I squeeze the kettlebell, I feel a lot of my front delt. I feel a lot of the muscle tighten up, right? And you know this through all the other power lifts and all these other lifts, but it starts with those little details, in my opinion, which prevents injury. And so the way I would start off education for most people is just grip first. So how does it feel when you relax the bell? Oh, okay, your arm feels like it's stretching.
So you're not even like grabbing it. You're just like letting it sit. Even
literally letting it sit right here, like a gorilla,
you're hanging from the windowsill,
like a gorilla,
yeah,
holding on to stuff. And so
it's like a hook.
Yep, a hook grip. And so it's being lengthened the whole time. And so, for example, if I bend my back with the kettlebell like this, I feel a stretch happening in my bicep tendon, my lat, my back of the shoulder. So when it comes down to kettlebell flow, if someone wants to do that first, I'm going to start showing them the details of the grip. Yeah. Then from there, we need to understand certain positions. And so I position people in certain positions that they're going to be in.
Let's get into positions in 1 second. I just realized we have open gym going on, and I don't think I told anybody that I'm back here, and I just need to tell them in case somebody...
Just go taco fest?
Yeah. You know, why is the grip important, and why do you use the different grip? Because, like, most people are going to be used to grabbing a kettlebell and squeezing it.
Yeah. So when you squeeze really hard, it tenses you up so much. So if you're going to try to move the kettlebell around with a very tense grip, you're going to be fighting the natural force of gravity. Sure. Gravity wins. And so over time, it's going to wear and tear your joints. You're going to feel all that in your shoulders and your low back versus a relaxed grip where now you're starting to just move with the bell. Yeah. You're just following the fluidity of where the weight takes you. So it's kind of a surrendering to the kettlebell, allowing it to pull you wherever you initiated
you showed it to me yesterday,
the acceleration.
It's really cool. It was fun to do. It was fun to learn. I didn't think I was going to be able to pick it up, because I have a lot of balance issues and other things, and some of it I was messed up on, but not the kettlebell stuff. I was actually good on. It was the other stuff. It was just standing on my own 2 feet. Is what I sucked at.
So we started yesterday with the lunge matrix, because where do I start people technically with any movement?
Yeah.
Is I start them with that. The lunge matrix is
What
I
is
learned
the
from a
lunge
friend
matrix,
for me.
and what do you do?
The lunge matrix is you move forwards, backwards, side to side. You rotate out and you rotate in. And what this is the 3 planes of motion in exercise.
Yeah.
We move forward in the sagittal and backwards. We move side to side in the lateral, I think. Yeah, frontal, excuse me,
Yeah.
the frontal. And then we move into the transverse plane. That's how we rotate between both pieces.
Sure.
So knowing how your body moves in all 3 planes while staying rooted with 1 foot is kind of like flossing or brushing your teeth, but for every muscle fiber. Because now you've moved in every single way, so when you twist your back later, it's done it before.
Yeah.
It's not brand new to it.
Yeah.
So you're at way less of a risk. Same thing with like hips moving around a little bit. Like, oh, they move. Cool. I did my lunge matrix this morning. Excellent. So I start people off with, hey, let's move 3D first. Then from there, let's learn about the spinal engine.
Do you have people do the lunge matrix every day, or is it
I ask them to do it every day.
like, is it something that you wake up and you do it, or is it something that you throw in a couple times a week?
I think
for you
whatever's going to
personally.
make you most consistent, you do that. But
Gotcha.
I call it, I got this from Atomic Habits, the book.
Yeah.
Habit stacking. For example, like if every time you're going to shit once a day, right? You're going to
Yeah.
have to take a shit. You're going to do a lunge matrix right before your shit. Right before your shit, do the lunge matrix.
Yeah.
So add the habit wherever the fuck you need to add the habit.
Yeah.
But just make it something that's a non-negotiable.
Whatever you need to do.
Yeah, 'cause it's so easy to do.
You may be good at put it with a habit that you can't, that you have to.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You make it a non-negotiable. And I think like everybody can benefit from that one. Like even when your legs were split apart, right? It challenges your balance.
Yeah.
It's probably good to get better in that stance every day because we walk. We already walk. So why not already improve that position and own it before we're worried about, don't get me wrong, I love deadlifts, squats, biceps, whatever. But making that the priority is more sustainability anyways, and it's going to lead to better results everywhere else. So
Would you see a lot of problems in people's feet?
oh yeah, super consistent.
What do you think is important when you're considering different shoes? I know there's all sorts of different barefoot shoes. There's all sorts of things. Some people don't recommend barefoot shoes. What's your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
I say be barefoot as much as possible. I'm going to put this to focus real fast.
Yeah.
Be barefoot as much as possible. And everyone has tension in their feet that already exists. So yesterday we put a lacrosse ball
Yeah, it
below
felt
our
great.
feet and we did some release work. So that's something that a lot of people can do while they're in the office, while they're standing, while they're taking a shit. Add the habit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like those are at least 2 tiny things you can do. Start doing those things.
Yeah.
Be barefoot more.
And that's pretty much it. So it's like be barefoot more, and then if you got to wear certain shoes, like gravitate more towards the barefoot type.
I would.
Maybe
yeah.
unless I guess the only exception would be doing a lot of running. You definitely need some padding because I know Mark
I run barefoot.
said he had to get some padding in there.
I think it's different for everybody.
Sure.
Like I said, there's no wrong.
Yeah.
Just make your foot strong.
Yeah.
Like, and if it hurts too much, like learn how to use it. Like just like you would your hand. Your foot is designed to move and be the same way.
Well, it's amazing when you wear barefoot shoes, you can feel your toe grab the ground basically, and
you can
that's
grip, you can spread, you can feel surface area. So I'm all for that with the feet.
Yeah, I think wide toe box on shoes, something that you can fit your feet in there. I think my feet are fat, and so they get
Thick.
squished in the shoes.
We call them thick.
Mine are thick and
Thick.
fat. Mine are thick.
Thick.
You should see how thick.
3
You should
C's.
see how thick mine are.
That's what I'm saying, man. Don't be ashamed of those thick feet, bro. I got thick feet too.
Yeah. What were we were going to talk about something else. Oh, you guys were talking about.
We were talking about.
When I was gone.
We were talking about how I was saying getting into the move too fast game can be really dangerous, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right, but if you have a trainer to walk you through it,
Coaches, mentors.
coach or mentor,
All of it.
Yeah.
you can miss all the mistakes that I made for a
Sure.
decade."
A lot of this stuff is available online, but why is it important to have a coach in something like this?
Accountability. It's easy as that. If you're invested in someone and they're invested in you, you find the right coach, You're already gonna have a reminder that like, hey, do this shit.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get into a habit. I agree. It wasn't easy, but it could have been easier if I invested. And whether it's financial investment or bartering or whatever the hell it is, like you want to speed up a process, whatever it is, you hire a coach.
Yeah.
And you know,
put some money into it, and it gives you like a little bit of responsibility. And,
Yep.
well, I don't want to waste my money. You know, hopefully it does that.
so that's one tiny sliver of this, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have the second thing. Me as a coach, this is my lifestyle. I do this shit for hours. You follow me? I'm influencing you. Now you have an influence in your life of someone doing the thing that you want to be doing consistently
And
in
they're
your
always
shit.
they're always there, and you know they're always on.
So it's kind of hard. It's in your face. So that's another small thing about the accountability. It's just truth in your mouth. It's
Yeah.
like, take it. It
Yeah.
is what it is. And I think when we hire and we expect people to be around us like that, it holds ourselves to a higher standard. So
Yeah.
having a coach is like a bajillion
You know,
reasons, but
I'll tell you,
accountability
like,
wise, hell yeah.
A lot of people fall off. I'm pretty much everybody that I've ever worked with falls off. Every single person. Like nobody's ever gone like, oh yeah, I stayed on the diet forever since you know, it's like
Yep,
they
yep.
have their ups and downs. And so yeah, if you're just ready for that and know that that happens, you can prepare for that. And rather than like a lot of these guys, what I try to do is slow them down. Russell and I were just talking. He lost 70 pounds in 2 years.
Yep.
That's incredible. I don't think we give that enough credit.
1,000%.
Yeah, buddy.
The process is the process, and growth is growth. You know?
Yeah.
Is it petty for me to say it's 72 now?
Oh,
No,
72
definitely
So
not. Own that
fucking
shit.
petty.
No, I'm
Own
proud
that
of you.
shit, bro. Every fucking pound.
2 years and a month.
In the world of fast weight loss, that would be considered to be, you know, hey, that's not that great, you know. That's amazing.
Yep. And then
That's
we're putting on muscle at the same time if you really want to,
Well, first of all, his
really
health,
think about that too.
His health, think about this. His health the first year, he was 35 pounds down. His health markers improved. Now he's 35 pounds again. Now the health markers improve exponentially, you know?
Yep.
And it just keeps going like that. So the longer you can stay healthy and be eating on a plan and doing all these things, the better. Your plan is fairly simple, correct?
Well, you were talking earlier about, may I interject real fast?
Yeah.
About sustainability,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, people fall
Can you
off.
stay?
I think there's multiple things that come with that. That's why I was like, you know, having a coach, great coaches, in my opinion, good educators make this shit fun. And like someone like, I've had clients for 7 years.
Wow.
6 years since I've started my career. I still train them now online. I love those people.
Yeah.
Like, we're fucking friends. They're in my circle for life. Like, they've helped me get to this point. They've platformed
Sure.
me too, you know? So I think when you make this process fun, like for me, training, that's why I wanted to learn so much. I want to move every type of way. I want to learn how to use every type of instrument because the shit's for life.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm having fun and enjoying the process. And now I do them all safely and smart and confidently. So I'm just giving that same energy
Yeah.
to every client I work with. And I think that makes the same journey for them too. Fun. They can always get a little better at movement.
You know
they
what
can
they
always
say?
smoothen it out.
It's interesting, right? You just said the word fun, and the other thing is like a lot of the times they're fun because they're different, are dynamic. And in filmmaking, they tell you make something like if something can like make a point and it's funny, you always win. You know, there's a couple times when you always win, and you want to look for those little wins.
Yep.
You know? And those, what I mean, those little wins, like if you can entertain and make something funny, or there's like a certain, there's like an equation for it, but it's like, I don't even know what I was saying, so forget about it. I totally like spaced on that. I'm like, what am I talking about?
We're talking about in filmmaking how you learn how to make something fun to watch.
Yeah,
If you make it fun to watch,
if it's entertaining and it makes a point, you
Yeah.
will remember it. That's
Yep.
what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the whole thing in Bigger, Stronger, Faster that we try to do is take some of these things and like just take jabs at it and make it fun and funny, and then people go, "Oh, I remember that," you know.
Yep,
And that's
fun
like,
and educational.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on your time here too much, but I said to your brother the other day, you want to learn how to be entertaining, and you want to be able to like inform people, and then if you're really hitting that nirvana, you're inspiring people.
Yeah.
Right. Your brother entertains me, you entertain me, you inform me, and you inspire me. So
thank you.
you catch my attention, you show me something, and then you make me want to go after it. So whether you do that in filming or in training, I think there's a art and a science to it. But some people really have, your charisma and your energy offers you
it's
so
amazing.
much already. You have,
Thank you guys. It's a mirror of yours. I swear.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
leadership,
things,
right? That's coaching, leadership. Like,
yeah.
is leading by example.
Yeah. And then what was I asking? Oh, go back to Russell before. I was saying your diet is fairly simple, right? Consistent, and that's how it's sustainable.
Yeah. I have, exactly. It's been really consistent. I've gone the gamut of just like the no fat, the no sugar, the
No carbs, carnivore.
You've taught me
keto.
Hit the protein, stay under the calories, get rid of as much processed food as I possibly can. So I eat a lot of red lean meat, a lot of chicken. I eat some what I call like cleaner carbs. I like white rice. Doesn't seem to give me any weird feelings. It doesn't make me want to just keep going back and eating it over and over again.
Sure.
Some veggies and some fruit, some protein shakes. That's about it, really. That's all I do.
It's nice and clean. Nothing too crazy in there. I think the processed foods are what are doing us in, and it's not that people can't have those here and there. You really can't be hammering those down every day.
It's just finding a balance. Like for me personally, I'm really still working on food freedom. Like when I want to have whether it's a drink,
it'll hit you one day
or
because
whether
I know
it's
you.
a certain type of food.
It'll hit you one day. We're like.
Not having any more processed.
Yeah, well,
it's
you're like,
coming.
you know
It's
what?
coming.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't want
slowly
that.
seeing myself peel away from a lot of processed foods.
And you hang out with our buddy Justin Lobato, and he's like total
a truth
hippie.
seeker and speaker.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And so I love him. Yeah, he
love him
really
too.
makes sure he's a fucking cool hippie, right?
Yeah, he's the best.
He makes it like informative and fun, and he leads by example. Where he's like, hey, like, where even the source of your meat is coming from, or things to think about. He goes even deeper, right?
You know what it is? The more you learn, and so like in the past 8 years, I've learned everything you can learn about meat and farming and this and that. So you definitely want to there's really important things to consider, and that's like what you're saying. Like, where does it come from? How is it grown?
Your why?
Is it ethical?
Why are we having it?
Yeah, is this good for the planet? Like all these things, and I ask all those questions, and so I try to make the best choices I can. That I, as a human being, that I can make.
Yeah, of course, and we still have to be human. So I was like, I'll fuck around with some ice cream. I'll do some shit.
Yeah. I totally
just finding
agree.
that balance and not judging either. Like, you really got myself.
I think you're better off having that safety gate. Like Mark and I both have contingencies for cheating. We are not no cheater guys. Never will be. And we know a lot of those people that are like, they're way too hippie. And they won't even have Ben and Jerry's once in a while. Like, dude, just once in a while.
Yeah, no, be human.
Yeah.
Be human with us.
Yeah, have
party.
fun.
It's fun. It's why we're here.
Jarrod, I have two 15-pound kettlebells and a 25-pound kettlebell, and they have been really good at holding shit from falling over for a long time.
Right on.
When I pick them up in the past, my lower back, I just burn it out so fast. So, and I know my fitness level is really a lot different than most people you probably deal with. But like, how do you take people going? Do you think kettlebells are is that like your thing, or is that just something that people sort of recognize that you're really talented at? Do you think kettlebells are like the best tool for getting in shape?
I really do think whatever is just exciting for you. Yeah. Like, if something excites you to move, fucking do it.
But
whatever the hell that is.
Is that all you do is kettlebell?
No, I do kettlebells. I do landmine training.
Oh, landmine. Okay, you said that.
Steel mace, rope flow, barbell training, basic bodybuilding movements. Like, I really like it all. I have a really good time because I believe every movement makes you feel different.
Yeah.
And like, for example, when you do powerlifting or when I do a super heavy fucking kettlebell.
Yeah.
And I do something it summons my fucking animal.
I kind of want to do, so one of the things, I've never done this. And I'm saying, I'm making this movie called Better, Stronger, Faster, and it'd be stupid and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't try, some of these things. So I'd love to try your workouts and your plans and everything. So I'm definitely going to hook up with you about that because I think
let's definitely talk. I'd love to work with you.
Well, it'd be cool to
share
do shit that I'm, you saw yesterday, I'm kind of broken in a lot of ways, but I also believe that I can be fixed.
Oh, you're definitely fixing yourself, bro.
So it's
we're unfucking ourselves.
Yeah, unfucking ourselves. And I think that I can do that. But
Whoa,
I think
do you think?
Also you
No.
No, I know I can do that.
Okay, cool.
But I also know now that maybe it's important to have a coach. So if you guys see this guy came here and he wore on us, and now I'm like, I need a coach and I need your help, bro. And so that's kind of how we do it, right?
Yeah, I'd love to help you.
Because we all like to help each other.
Yeah.
Tell people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram at The Crazy Trainer. I'm gonna do my best. I'm going to start building my YouTube.
Is the Crazy Trainer from Crazy Train? Like
no,
the song?
no, but I love, and we talked about this recently. I love that because Ozzy, thank you. But yeah, no, I like. Do you want to know where the Crazy Trainer comes from?
Yeah.
So originally, people were calling me crazy when I was at LA Fitness because I'd be on the floor.
Is this your
upset.
nickname?
I mean,
What's up, crazy?
Now it's becoming it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I would say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I started out, people were calling me nuts, crazy, because I'd be on the floor, looking at your feet, like where did the toes go, putting my hands in places so you know where to step, all this stuff. And I was like, man, crazy. I looked it up one day, and I was like, it's just a confused term with batshit passionate.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's me. I'm fucking crazy. And then I was like, I'm super passionate. So people like confuse me.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, man, I'm the Crazy Trainer. Looked it up on Instagram and it was available.
It's
And I was like,
available.
it's mine.
Damn.
So that's really my mini story of the Crazy Trainer.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it, and then
Thanks.
you didn't even know that you like nailed it.
Right?
You
I was
just
like,
did.
but I did. I was like,
Yeah.
this
you
is it.
kinda knew. Yeah.
This is it.
You know, like when you come up with names for something, or you're trying to figure out something, it's really weird that like you just say it out loud and you're like, that's it.
Yep.
And it just clicks, and you know. Like my new movie, when the guy's like, well, what do you want to call it? And I'm like, Better, Stronger, Faster. And he's like, well, that's confusing. The first one's Bigger, Stronger, Faster. I know, but like, why not just change the word? You
Yep.
know, I think that's the best way.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
I've been arguing for like 6 months, and then finally we switched it to that because he's like, oh, that's brilliant. I get it now.
Yeah.
Like it takes a little time
You're
to think about
better.
it, but I knew to fight for it. And if I didn't know to fight for it, I wouldn't get what I wanted. I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
inner
important.
voice, man.
Yeah, I think people need to listen to their gut.
Yeah, we do.
Their gut microbiome.
It's hard because everyone's listening to everybody else too.
Listen to your
So it's like
microbiome, bro.
straight up, I listen to yourself first, and
Yeah.
it just takes time to even like face the truth of yourself.
So it's a Crazy Trainer, and are you on YouTube, Twitter, or anything like that?
YouTube at the Crazy Trainer as well, and that's it. Facebook, Jarrod Cardona.
There we go.
Be my friend.
Jarrod?
Yep, correct. I'm honored that you
C-A-R
memorized that.
C-A-R? Wait.
D-O-N-A.
D-O-N-A.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would have gotten it.
I was going to say Corona. Like, that's
That's cool
Corona.
too. It's okay.
And who's that doing those kettlebells with you in there?
Oh, Justin Lovato right there.
Oh, Lovato there. That's our boy.
My guy.
Oh, that's the pinned one. And then this you at our gym over here on the right?
Yeah, the last few I've been here, I've been making content.
Let me see that one on the right there.
I gotta have a good
and
time.
you train over on it, which is sick.
Yeah, man, beautiful
Yeah,
environment.
look at this. This is cool. I feel like you should be outside of it, like on the boardwalk.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll put a hat out.
Yeah,
and people will
collecting
give me
money.
some money.
It would kind of be funny, actually.
Honestly, I've thought about it. There was one day in Orlando at Lake Eola. I actually was doing that. I didn't put a hat outside, but someone was like, "Do I give you $1?" And I was like, "Oh shit,
That's great.
this is an attraction."
Like, because this is pretty cool.
I think so, man. Thank you.
dope.
I was like, man, I just want to be a ninja Jedi thing.
Yeah.
You've accomplished it.
Well,
I'm
thanks,
on the way.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
And getting involved, brother.
Hell
We love
yeah,
you.
man. This is
Yeah.
awesome. I love you guys too. Yeah, everyone here is, like I said earlier, like cool as fuck.
When I
And
was
work
talking
and
about
doing the
that-
work.